to accommodate folks here today. Today we intend to focus on the livestock industry and whether there is proper competition to ensure producers are getting a fair shake. These workshops will help us understand the issues that are of most concern and deserve closer attention, and to explore the appropriate role, if any, for antitrust or regulatory enforcement in the agricultural industry. In March, we held a workshop on general farm issues in Ankeny, Iowa. In May, we gathered in Normal, Alabama to discuss poultry issues. In June, we discussed dairy issues in Madison, Wisconsin. Moving forward, we intend to hold one final workshop on December the 8th in Washington, D.C. President Obama provided a clear direction that government should be open and transparent, and these workshops are designed to do just that. We want to have a public dialogue on these very complex but important issues. As I travel across the country, I hear a consistent theme. Producers are worried. They're worried whether there is a future for them and for their children in agriculture. There are many ingredients needed for someone to get into farming and ranching. He or she needs to have access to capital, to get the land, equipment, and livestock. They need to be willing to take significant risks and work very hard. And they need to know that there is an open and competitive market for their livestock and for their commodities. Livestock producers are extraordinarily innovative, despite enduring some very difficult times. And USDA is designed to support producers' ability to join together, to market their products, to find value-added opportunities, and to enter into contract arrangements. Additionally, we look to support producers in their efforts to work hard and to receive a premium for their efforts. Now, there are some troubling statistics concerning the livestock sector. The top 4 cattle packers control roughly 80% of steer and heifer procurement, and the top 4 hog packers control roughly 65% of hog procurement. In 1994, the spot market for hogs was 62%. Today, it is only roughly 5% nationally, and new figures just recently developed are showing it dipping below 4% for the first time ever. In cattle, depending upon what part of the country you live in, the spot market is also rapidly declining. In 1999, the spot market for cattle was 68%. Today, it's closer to 52% nationally. And we know in some parts of the country, it's less than 30%. This thinning spot market is a concern because it sets the base prices in marketing contracts. In the retail sector, the top 4 retailers now control 37% of the market, up from 17% in 1992. And consolidation in this sector can have a squeeze on the packing sector and have ripple effects all the way down to the producer. Some have argued that the status quo is better for livestock agriculture and that the current system has resulted in efficiency and innovation. But I think we need to take a look at where we are. Under the status quo, there has been a significant exodus from agriculture and a depopulating of rural America. In the past 40 years, the United States has lost 800,000 farmers and ranchers, and those that remain are aging. From 2002 to 2007, our last ag census, the average age of a farmer increased from 55 to 57. The number of farmers aged 75 and older has increased by 20% over the same period. Meanwhile, the number of operators under 25 years of age has decreased by 30%. The sad fact is that young people find it very difficult to get into this important occupation calling we call farming. 50 million people now live in rural America. Urban areas are growing at a much faster pace, and more than half of rural counties have lost population. Today, if you consider all family farm operations, only roughly 10% of family farm income comes from farming. And more of our farmers are looking elsewhere for the primary source of income. Rural communities have higher poverty rates than the rest of the country, and the average per capita income of rural residents is approximately $11,000 below their urban and suburban counterparts. In 1980, there were 666,000 hog farms. Today, it's roughly 1/10 of that at 67,000. A similar situation exists in the cattle industry. In 1980, there were over 1.6 million farms. Today, there are roughly 950,000 cattle farms. In 2009, a hog producer received 24.5% of the retail value of a hog, and it was over double that percentage in 1980 at near 50%. Last year, 13.6% went to the packer, and 61.9% went to the retailer. A cattle producer gets 42.5% of the retail value of a steer in 2009, which compares to 62% in 1980. Last year, 8.5% went to the packer, and 49% went to the retailer. While the causes of decline in farm numbers is complex, it's no secret that livestock and poultry marketplaces have become more consolidated and vertically integrated. And although there can be efficiencies found with these trends, there is also the potential for unfair practices and limited transparency, which increases risk for producers. We continue to seek answers and solutions, and under our watch at USDA, we've taken a number of steps in an effort to improve competition in agriculture. The USDA and the Department of Justice, as a result of these hearings, has established the Agricultural Competition Joint Task Force to explore new opportunities for utilizing each other's expertise. These workshops will also help inform the work of that task force. To improve the efficiency and enforcement under the Packers and Stockyards Act, we've increased GIPSA's budget to improve enforcement over unfair and deceptive practices in the marketplace. And the department is hiring more attorneys and field investigators to handle complex investigations and other violations. GIPSA recently published a proposed rule for fairness in marketing of livestock and poultry, and in December, GIPSA published a final rule to establish basic fairness in poultry contract. So it is in this broad context that we have a conversation today. I want to take this opportunity to thank all who have traveled here today, from near and far. I especially want to thank the panelists who will be introduced in a few minutes for their willingness to participate in this workshop, and I look forward to hearing what everyone has to say on these very important issues. Just as a note, those who are in the overflow rooms will also have an opportunity to make their thoughts known. We have computers and staff at each of the overflow areas to take comments.